said that they wanted to speak, but I'll open it up to anybody who would like to go first. Can you just tell us your name?
Ben Forrest,
Okay.
16 Locust Avenue.
Gotcha, Ben, thank you.
I'm also serve on the Red Bank Borough Board of Education, but I'm not here in that capacity. I'm just here as our president speaks for the board, of course. So I'm just here as a parent and a resident, taxpayer. Now, I'm not a financial person, so I'm not going to argue, about the financial who's right, the public schools version or the charter schools version of the numbers. But I think it's fairly safe to say that, and in fact, when I read the application for your expansion, clearly indicates that you have some knowledge that it will have an impact of some sort. My kids had a wonderful education over at the schools. My son actually was accepted here at the charter school. We didn't get in the lottery the first time, and we were over the primary, and then I don't know if it was Mrs. Finati or one of your staff members was kind enough to call and say we got in, but at the time Zach seemed to be doing fine, so we just stayed at the primary school. And it's worked out great. They're both in the engineering program at Red Bank Regional. We're very happy parents. Each of my son and the daughter have their different issues, and we're looking at colleges. But the reason I tell you this is that, we're not, in a vacuum here, as you can well appreciate. And sometimes, things will have impacts in other places. And I know you have passion about education and the community. Clearly, I was reading your website tonight. You do a lot of community-based things. And I have many dear friends here in town who've had a wonderful experience here at the charter school. Unfortunately, the expansion, I think, is going to damage the conventional public schools. We don't know what all the details are going to be and how it's all going to shake out. At the presentation of Dr. Rummage the other night, and it sounded like it could be as many as 25, of our staff.
Yeah, one minute left.
$2 million. And it seems to me that those impacts really should be weighed before you apply, since we all are in this together. We're all here to educate students here at Red Bank. I'm here as a parent and as a taxpayer. There's a financial impact as well. And it seems to me at the very minimum we should really get to the bottom of what the range of impact is going to be, and that should be weighed. I have never been opposed to having a charter school here. We had that option and we chose to go with the regular schools. I don't hear any voices calling for any kind of change as far as a charter school being here. But I have grave concern about the impact this expansion will have on the wonderful experience that we were lucky enough to have here as a family in Red Bank with the public schools. And I think we should allow that to continue. And I would respectfully ask that you withdraw the application. I don't know why there was no public outreach in advance. I guess you had your reasons. I think it would have been appropriate myself. You're not going to always hear what you want to hear from people, but at least you can say we did reach out. We did go on the council. We did go to the Red Bank Board of Education. We did have a community forum over at the Second Baptist Church or whatever, and made the case for the expansion. And that didn't happen. So now we have a very narrow timeline, and I think damage will be done probably if this expansion goes through to the conventional schools, and we all suffer. Anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Forrest. Anyone else?
Suzanne Viscovi, 19 Morford Place. I thank you guys for your work here at the Board of Trustees. That's great, considering you guys are not all residents of Red Bank and taxpayers. Red Bank is a unique town. Some people just think of Tiffany's, Rolex. But Red Bank has to include everybody. Just briefly looking at your slides here, for example, you say Red Bank charter students receive $2,669 less. I think that's a half-truth. I don't believe it includes your transportation. I believe that bill is picked up by the public school, so add that in. The public school has to pay for a mentally disturbed or handicapped children for their additional needs. I believe, if not all, a good portion of it is picked up by the public school. So I don't think these slides are really showing apples to apples. Numbers are an art form, it's not really a science. I also think that the bigger issue, and the issue that's been Red Bank has been fighting for a while, is the funding. Forget about charter school and public school. The bottom line, the funding has been short. If the state's calculation, Democrat, Republican, whatever, the state's calculation says we should receive X amount of dollars. We don't receive X amount of dollars. Where does that money come from? Not from all of you guys. You guys don't pay Red Bank taxes, at least not all of you. Where it comes from? Majority of the people here that came out that's concerned. We need to take that in consideration. No, again, as Ben said, nobody's saying is against charter school. I think that's great that we have a choice. People are passionate about their child. You're not going to tell them what's right for the child. You can give them 100 studies saying this is the best place, and 100 studies saying that what's happening on the other side of town is the best place. Whatever parents want for their children, God bless them. That's their choice. But I think these slides, and just these slides, just briefly looking at it, again, is not telling the whole truth. For example, you're saying that additional funding wouldn't be received. That's a half-truth. We get adequacy funding because of the shortfall payment from the state. Regardless if you're here or not, Red Bank is over the 10% of shortfall in the entire state. The place where people can go to Tiffany's and Rolex, 80 plus have low income or free lunch. That's such a discrepancy. I hope you guys take everything into consideration, that the bottom line is it's going to hurt us. It's going to hurt the people that have to work extra hours to pay that $200 increase a month. It's going to hurt the children. And if you're for the children as much as everybody else is for the children, working those extra hours, you're not going to be home with your child. You're not going to be able to sit home and be a stay-home mother. You're not going to be able to sit home and work with your child on homework or go through a basketball game. So I hope you take this under consideration. And thank you.
Thank you.
Kate Oakson, 8 Chapin Avenue. First, I want to say the education world is small. I've had the pleasure of Coach Christie, colleague Rona. I am an almost 20-year educator. I want to be fully disclose my professional allegiances to teachers. I'm a union president. I do not want these things to be seen as a fallibility. From the standpoint of my opinion, I'm here with my son. I am a resident. I choose this place as my home. I'm somebody who's very concerned about character and about how we speak about ourselves as a community. I'm going to read a prepared statement. I have allowed myself to, as a former charter school employee 18 years ago in Hoboken, to accept the place that charter schools have in our education system. But I want to call into question the particular mission of this school in light of these recent events. I read the expansion proposal as an academic and an educator, and I was faced immediately with troubling language describing my son's peers as disenfranchised, disengaged, or status quo. And it indicated to me that there is a problem with the charter leadership, out of touch with truth, and a lack of character when we are unable to speak plainly and truthfully, opting instead for language which avoids and continues to avoid the touch-and-go relationship with class, ability, and ethnic privilege. Charter school leadership acts in poor character when it uses language that obfuscates the known pedagogical differences between proficiencies and achievement. Charter school leadership acts in poor character when they apply for an expansion because of a favorable political climate. The charter school leadership acts in poor character when they ask for their application to be seen in light of the best interests for their students, not politics, demographics, or economics, when they would like the state to look the other way on exactly these counts. Lack of character is present in official school documents where the charter school favors trumpeting their supposed gains only when coupled with supposed failures of neighboring schools, or in the documents where the charter school favors using language which is critical of the very real gains made by a student body which is disproportionately challenged as English language learners, disproportionately challenged as economically disadvantaged, and/or by special needs. I was advised that using the word segregated implies that there is a premeditation and that schools aren't segregated but merely demographically divided. I submit that the charter school, through the choice of language in official documents with respect to the many types of students to whom it euphemistically speaks, is indeed an act of segregation, and further comparisons to benefit and expansion proposal are not germane. A scenario, if you will. If your expansion is improved, you will hopefully have a more diverse body, and that will include students who are learning English and students with special needs. We have long heard about your achievements and your unique and innovative approaches to learning. I would like to know how you plan on dealing with the outcomes, lower scores, and challenges, and how you will report those fall-offs to your parents and your dedicated clients. Are you prepared in those events with lower rankings, maybe become a focus school? How will you report that to the community? What will your character be built of then?
Thank you. I have names on the list, but I also want to open it to anybody else that would like to.
So I also have a prepared document. This is full disclosure. I'm a teacher here at the Red Bank Charter School, and the faculty has put together a pre-prepared statement. When asked what is different about the Red Bank Charter School, we're never exactly sure how to begin to answer that question. Do we say we go to school for 8 hours? Do we tell them about charter champion ceremonies and Mentos once a month? Do we speak to our parent and community involvement or character education program? At RBCS, of course, we hold high expectations for each student's academic performance. As a faculty, we know our classrooms are not confined to the 4 walls. They extend beyond, where students experience hands-on learning from local businesses, meaningful field trips, and the use of the wonderful open spaces provided by the park systems in the area. Within the classroom, our 2-teacher model allows for differentiation and support of every student. Our innovative, progressive instructional model ensures that every student receives high individual support. We believe that all students can learn. Character education and service learning are not just buzzwords for us. Yes, they have been part of our curriculum since the beginning, but the goals aren't tested by assessments. Our strong school culture is a result of the cultivation of many different relationships. The relationships between younger and older students that we develop through buddy activities, and the many mixed level activities such as clubs, electives, and the mentoring programs. We believe all children must care for themselves and others. The relationships between our school and the many community partners throughout our area give our students the lasting memories they will hold on to. Reading to the elderly at Wesleyan Arms, helping out at lunch break, and realizing that even though the students were hesitant at first, they grew to be confident enough to work alongside individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. They made a difference. We believe that all children should contribute to their larger world. We are a huge, diverse family with its quirks, but always manage to draw upon the unconditional love we have for our school, our community, and one another. Our school year from start to finish is like a giant pep rally. The entire community is a team, the students, the parents, the faculty, each with their own important role. Cheering each other on, the underdogs, some might peg us, but we keep playing our game. We believe in the school. We know that from the outside, the charter school difference may be hard to understand. It's like a fun secret that we have that we all get to be a part of. It's also not something that can be described in words. It's a feeling you get as soon as you walk into the building, a living school community. Living the charter way is something you can only understand by having it in your life on a daily basis. Whether you're a parent, student, faculty, or staff member, why wouldn't we want more families to share this feeling? Sincerely, the faculty.
Thank you. Someone else?
I am Fred Stone, 16 McLaren Street. I am Vice President of the Red Bank Borough Board of Education, but come to speak tonight as a concerned citizen of Red Bank with really just a brief, probably rhetorical question. It was represented in the press that you have told your parents at their meeting that the expansion will have a positive effect on the finances of the borough schools. On the other hand, in your application for the amendment of your charter, you state We have examined the impact this expansion will have on the budget of the borough schools